Welcome to a very brief episode of Wisdomization. As we say here, to wisdomize is to make wiser, to make smarter, to elevate our minds, our consciousness, our reasoning beyond the three-dimensional cognition. Because the 3D cognition is a cognition of everyone around you. And as human organisms, as social, biological, spiritual entities inhabiting this planet, is not just enough to say I'm alive. It is not just enough to say, oh, I get married, I procreate and have multiple children as I want to. I just wake up every day, eat food. No, these are lower things, other animals, lower creatures can also engage in. But what makes us human, what makes us higher consciousness is ability to transcend the 3D system. Animals procreate, animals eat food, right? Animals have fun, right? But they are trapped in the three-dimensional reality. And because we are evolved human spiritual consciousness, our consciousness can transcend the 3D cognition, the 3D awareness, and go to this other multi-dimensional aspect of comprehension, right? So that's what makes us human. What makes you human is just because you're alive, right? Because the trees are alive, the animals and goats and cows are alive. So what makes you really human is the ability to tap into the spiritual dimension of yourself, to transcend the level of material cognition. So in order not to distract myself, today I'm going to talk about the coming age of human control. How are they going to control you in the future? And when I say they, I'm talking of the elite, the system that runs this world, the system that is more powerful than you are, of course, unless your awareness is expanded. If your awareness is trapped in the three-dimensional cognition of humanity, you cannot escape the control system being designed as we talk for you in the future, right? We are stepping into the age of global human control. And this global human control is going to run on a socialist system, on a system of global socialism, on a system of global technocracy. Technocracy has to do with the group of elites who control technology. The control system of the future is going to be authoritarian, is going to be expanded, it's going to be worldwide. Everyone is getting into a system of mass population control, right? And anyone who is aware of events, technological event, social event, economic event, political event unfolding in our world will understand that we are in the great age of research. As we talk right now, today, the world is being researched. This is what many analysts, this is what many prophets, when I say prophets, I'm not talking about religious fanatical prophet, I'm talking about people who cognitively can analyze the future, right? Like prophets, right? So this is what many people who can forecast the future are calling we are in the great reset. The world is being reset. Your emotion, as we talk, is being reset. Your mind is being reset subliminally. And that is why many people are not aware of the great revolutionary change going on today. And this great revolutionary change is linked to the fourth industrial revolution. We are at the doorstep of the fourth industrial revolution. And the reason the fourth industrial revolution is not going to be anything at all that humanity has witnessed in the past is because technology has grown exponentially. technology has grown exponentially. Excuse me. That is what is going to redefine the future. That is going to be what is going to redefine you in the future as a social, conscious, biological entity inhabiting this world. You are going to be controlled. You are going to be a slave in the system they are designing tomorrow in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. Remember, we've gone as humanity, we've gone through the Stone Age revolution, the Iron Revolution, the Industrial Revolution. You know, if you read a book by, I think his name is Alvin Toffler. I don't know if I'm saying this name right. Alvin Toffler. If you study his book very well, he spoke about these waves of human, industrial, technological, economic revolution. But we know that those revolutions will not match the future for industrial revolution that is going to be dependent on the AI system. And that is the game changer for the elites. And for you, who is an ordinary citizen anywhere in any country, this is bringing the age of control. You'll be controlled. Your mind will be controlled. In the future, they are designing, right? Sometime back in 1992, the elites, excuse me, the elites gathered in a place called Rio, Brazil, in what they called Earth Summit, right? The elite, the world elite, those who control other people, those who mastermind the political, the economic, the military, the social movement of history. They came together in a place called Rio, Brazil, in what they called Earth Summit. We know that these elites, what I usually call the Luciferians. People don't want this word because they want to sound civilized. But until you understand the hidden history of mankind, the hidden history of humanity, you know that the Luciferians have always been running the planet for thousands of years, right? So in Brazil, excuse me, I'm coughing, because I'm under the weather. So in Brazil, an agenda emerged out of the Earth Summit in Brazil, and that agenda became what a lot of people call today as the Agenda 21. Go and find any material and study carefully the United Nations Agenda 21. This agenda emerged out of the Earth Summit in Brazil. And there's a plan, there's a global plan for population reduction, for world population reduction, to implement Malthusianism on the global population, to implement dysgenic, some people say eugenic, I prefer to say dysgenic, right? To implement this global mass population reduction using any means, using medical means, military means, any means available to this technocratic Luciferian elite. They are going to use it to reduce the global population because they have a target. There's a particular number they want the world population to be maintained, right? For easy control. They've been implementing this agenda for a long time, but again, what makes the future different, what makes the fourth industrial revolution different is that technology has grown and advanced beyond your imagination. If you get to understand the kind of technology that these technocrats, these globalists, these socialists, these authoritarians who run the world and who plan to rule the world in the future, if you understand the level of technological advancement, you think we're talking of something of science fiction, but it's not science fiction. It's a reality. It's a reality. They are resetting the world. And that resetting of the world is connected to the UN Agenda 21. Agenda 21. Not just say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, because many people who say it's a conspiracy theory don't look at facts, don't look at material, they don't look at literatures. They don't, right? They watch TV and they want to believe what the mainstream system, what their pastors, bishops are telling them. Most of the time, these people are unaware, their ignorance of the real facts on the ground in this world. Apart from population reduction, by the way, read a book called, what is it called? I think Population Bomb by, I think, Paul Enrich. Paul Enrich is his name. It's called Population Bomb, where this elite system, this group of elites are expressing anxiety over the population of the world, so they have to cut the population of the world down by any means necessary. These are not nice people, folks. These people who control the world are not good people. They don't have morality. They don't have ethical principles. These are psychopaths. These are evil people. These are agents of Satan on this planet who can use any medical means, any military means, any means necessary, right, to make sure that humanity is under the control of these Luciferian agents, these satanic agents, these evil people who run this planet. As we go forward to the future, they are conditioning the world population towards redefining what the family system is. The family is going to be redefined in the future because they are trying to create a degenderized humanity, a degenderized population. And as we go forward in the future, we're going to be hearing trans this, trans that, trans this, trans that, gender, transhumanism, posthumanism. All of these are tied to this idea of global population control. And the fourth industrial revolution is not just tied to AI, artificial intelligence, that is going to control everyone. It is tied to the idea of transforming what we know today as human into a cyborg kind of cyborg, right? Creating a transhumanist, Luciferian philosophy on our planet. And that is not good for us. That is not good for humanity. I'm not a digital Luddite. I'm not a technological Luddite. I'm not a human evolutionary Luddite. I'm not against humans evolving. What I'm against is the idea of destroying natural law, the idea of eliminating natural law in order to bring this new age of transformation, this new age of transhumanism and posthumanism that they are dreaming about for a long time, right? It is an alchemical principle. Using a chemical principle or called a chemical principle, which is also part of this technological philosophy they're implementing to transform human, eliminate as many people as they want to eliminate, but those who they're not killing, is going to be a global socialist control system. So as I was saying, out of that Agenda 21, you're going to see global population control. Global population control using dysgenic and using Malthusianism, using any kind of medical means to eliminate as much people as they can. Because you have soul, you don't imagine this is possible. You're not dealing with people, you're dealing with a subspecies within humanity called psychopaths. these people can go to war and eliminate a whole group of people, and they don't have that consciousness, that conscience, right? And don't say it's not possible. You say it's not possible because you have soul. You can't do it does not mean that people who are soulless can't do this evil thing on our planet. And they are doing this evil thing on our planet. They've been doing this evil thing on our planet for a long time. Right? They are going to be pushing more and more of the world population to be crammed in what they call city. They want to empty rural places, right? Because those who exist in city often lack private ownership of property. That is, again, one of their agenda. They want to make sure they eliminate your capacity to own property. And when you're crammed in apartments in cities around the world, you don't have access to healthy life. I know many people think the city is the best place to be, but there's a noise, the psychological, the city is full of stress, and they want to cram the world population in the city, because once they cram the world, they empty the rural places and crammed everyone in the city, it's easy to control global population. You control job, you make them depend on job. If they don't have job, they can't feed. They don't have access to land. They don't have access to seed, right? They don't have access to just healthy environment of breathing fresh air, walking on your land. You don't have that access. And this is part of that global agenda of taking people's sovereignty away. Again, in the future, you're going to see national boundaries being blurred, because they will create a worldwide global system of political and economic control. Already, every world bank in the world is linked to some bank who linked to some bank, who that is stationed in England, right? All the World Bank, doesn't matter what country you are in. If you like being in South America, be in the Middle East or in Africa, your national banks, your national banks are linked to this control system by the elite. And if you attempt to extricate yourself from these people, they will destroy you, as we see happen to Gaddafi. Gaddafi wanted to create a system of economy, system of banking, system of economic arrangement away from these Luciferian elites. They killed him, they destroyed him, right? They destroyed him. So this is what is going to be, this is what is happening, this is what is unfolding. So you are going to be under digital control, you are going to be under technological control. In the future, they are dreaming, they want to create a cyborg, a human cyborg, partly human, partly machine, right? Because once your biological system has been hacked by technology, it means you will be controlled. Already people are being controlled already by technology they have, because people don't understand electromagnetic field, electromagnetic frequency, and wave vibrations, radio waves, microwave. How are these invisible, excuse me, how are these invisible light frequencies being utilized to control you? You don't know that the cell phone you have is controlling, you have no idea. You have no idea how the cell phone you have is studying every nerve in your body, every syntax in your brain, every motor neuron in your brain is being studied by your cell phone. That is why you take your cell phone away for a day, you go into anxiety. Mental health field. And digital addiction is real addiction. Why are you addicted digitally? Because there are frequencies, invisible frequencies that have conquered you, like possessed you like the devil, and take over your entire biological system. You cannot be with your phone without a day. You go into real anxiety, real clinical problem. A lot of people will do that, right? Why? Because there are waves, there are something being beamed within your biodigital self, within your biological system, right? And they are using it already to control you. You don't understand it. You don't understand it. right? Those who control technology will control the world in the future and forever, right? So the world is leaning towards Luciferian great age of Satan. I'm going to say that again. That doesn't sound civilized, doesn't sound intelligent, but that is a fact. The world is leading towards designing, pushing the world towards the great age of Satan, the great age of Lucifer. Remember, Lucifer is light bringer. What is light? Knowledge, enlightenment, you know. That is why they call the age of enlightenment, because those who understand the occult understand that when you say enlightenment is a religious concept, an occult concept. The age of enlightenment is because those in Europe who brought the age of enlightenment studied ancient occult, right? And they introduced enlightenment, advanced the concept. Light is Lucifer, right? Light is Lucifer, light bringer, right? They advanced the next stage of human evolutionary process based on Prometheanism. Prometheus, the Lucifer, is the giver of light to mankind. Lucifer is Prometheus. Prometheus is the giver of light to mankind. And this light is the light of quote unquote technocratic control of humanity. Technocratic control of humanity. In the future, I said, I'm going to say it again, that the world is going to be run by a system of socialism, global socialism, that is technocratic, that is authoritarian. I'm going to say that again, because it's very important. We need to absorb this information. In the future to come, the world is going to be run with a system of socialism and technocracy. Technocracy is the government run by few people who control technology. Most of you think that in the future you're still going to be having jobs. AI will take your jobs in the fourth industrial revolution. You'll be obsolete. You'll be stupid. You'll be daft. Your humanity will be reduced to nothing. If you're a teacher, a professor, these jobs are already taken over by AI. AI is going to be teaching people. Humans are already obsolete. So what are you going to do? The elite will not have need for you. Look at factory jobs already being taken over by machines. So they are making the world population dependent. And that is why they are creating this global socialist program. You hear them say things like universal basic this, universal, that's already taken over Europe, right? Universal basic this, universal basic income. They want to place you on a universal basic income. Maybe they give you $1,000 every month, and you're dependent on that forever. You don't have access to land. You don't have access to any property. Your family will be controlled. The state will have a lot of control over your family, over your children, right? The state, as we go forward in this great age of Satan, in this great technocratic age, in this fourth industrial revolution, in this coming age of AI, the state, when I say the state, I'm talking of the technocratic elite. They're going to have more influence on raising your children. It's already happening. They are going to have more influence in raising your children. The state will make laws that will take over raising your children from you. If you don't agree with it, you go to jail. Already, the entire population, the family system is already under mind conditioning. I mean, mind conditioned, mind programmed to follow the dictates of these technocratic elites that are taking over the world and controlling humanity, right? So a lot of you are happy they're initiating universal basic income. Universal basic income means that everybody, it creates this kind of pseudo egalitarianism, pseudo socialist egalitarianism. That's what they are trying to create. And guess what? Many people are chanting this mantra, especially those you consider intellectuals, because intellectuals are always, throughout history, the gatekeepers, the lackeys of the hidden elites, the hidden Luciferians. They use professors, they use all these intellectuals to as a pawn in the great game of population control, right? I mean, world mind control. So The media is another platform that they use to brainwash the world into following the system that they are designing. So the future is scary for those who can forecast, for those who can see what is coming. The future is very, very, very scary because the whole world is already under control. Already, all over the world, most of the seed that farmers plant already GMO, genetically modified organisms. And we see what happened already, that many oranges, many watermelons, many fruit, you don't have seed anymore, which means you have to go to these agricultural corporations to buy your seed, you know, and when you buy those seeds, because it's genetically modified, you only harvest it once. So you cannot store the seed to plant next year. This is part of that global agenda of taking power away from people, taking sovereignty away from people, and placing them under a system of global socialist system. The age of industrial revolution will usher in properly the age of this socialist technocracy. Socialism, that is why they're advocating socialism all over the world. They are pushing socialism all over the world, particularly in places like Europe, taking over all over the place. And they are trying to conquer the United States. They're trying to conquer America to make America a socialist-leaning society. A socialist-leaning society, right? Because you don't control people who are sovereign. You don't control people who have the right to bear arms and defend themselves, protect their family. People who want to own property, it's difficult to control them. But you control people when you strip them all natural rights. You control them easily. You cram them in the city areas and make them depend on the jobs you offer them, right? And they live in these apartments in the cities with no access to property ownership, right? And that is what they are doing on a global level gradually. Many of you will say it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not because you're still asleep, right? You're still asleep. We are going into, as we step into the fourth industrial revolution, what you call your job. Tell me the job you do that AI is not going to take over. Already, many people on this planet are already obsolete already, because the few technocratic elite are going to be those who run the world, those who run the government, those who run the economy. And they decide literally who live, particularly some of you in the developing world, like Africa, right? The same way during the past era, we see that Europeans, when I say Europeans, I'm not talking of all white people, I'm talking of the few technocratic elites, the few people, the elite, the power that be, they develop technology and they use technology to go to cross the sea and go to Africa and capture slaves. Use those human enslavement to create the capitalist system we have in the Western world. The same way that this so-called elite are going to enslave not just Africans, but the entire population of the world under their technological guard. The technological guard, the Luciferian technocracy. That is what is going to take over the world as we go. You don't see that because you're short-sighted. You don't have long vision. You can see the future coming. And the future is coming so quickly, so fast. And that future is a future where your soul will be controlled. They will eliminate many people on this planet. They will reduce the population. And those who are left are going into digital cybernetic control by the technocratic elites who run the world. I'm going to stop here. This is the primordial wave, and I am the Wisdomizer. Next time.